Hi, everybody. First and foremost, thanks for watching my previous videos I made last year and all the feedback and the comments that I should keep doing these videos. I wasn't really planning on them, but now I think because of your feedback, I will, and I give you a little update. It's been a year since the very bitter end of the relationship with my ex that was diagnosed with traits of personality disorders. It doesn't, I mean, there was borderline and there was avoidant personality disorder, some OCD. Um, but I think this also goes for other personality disorders. And obviously, you cannot generalize people, and these people are also having a hard time. So I don't want to blame, or I don't want to put them in a bad light, but I just try to explain and try to make sense for myself and hopefully also you. My today's answer that I try to elaborate on or question is, will you ever get an apology? And for me, it's been a year since that bitter end. You can watch the story in my other videos, how it all panned out in the end. And I never got any type of apology, even though we live in the same city and it's not a big city. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you always end up in that neighborhood. If you like this kind of bar, you always end up in that bar. And it happens that our ways cross. So was it like just yesterday on a beautiful Sunday. It was the first sunny Sunday over here where you could just sit outside a cafe and have a good time, which I did until I didn't because I bumped into this person and she was there with a guy she back then slept with when it all seemed to be like better again with us, so we got back together. And she smeared me to this person and also obviously to everybody else around and even people that are more related to me, try to somehow burn bridges between me and my possible positive future. And with some of these people, she was sitting there yesterday, and that is, I think, the first point I want to elaborate on why it's difficult to ever apologize for these folks. It is because they build up this whole world after the final discard, if you want to call it like that. they they tell such bad things about you and that you're crazy and that you do this and that and many times things that they actually did to you. So imagine how would they ever come to you and apologize because they would actually not be true to those other people because or to yeah their safety net that they told these lies to or these half truths. And this is first reason why they would never come and apologize. Because imagine they would be like, there would be an apology and you would bump into them like some weeks later and they would, these people, and you would go up to them and say hi in a friendly way. I don't think that this is going to be possible because these people would all be confused. Like they would think, well, you say hi to this person that we had to like support you after the breakup, or what's the matter? I mean, yeah, I can imagine that you know what I'm talking about. Another point is also they do believe this false version of the whole story and how the whole narrative went because I think, I mean, I'm not a licensed therapist whatsoever. I'm just like, I was a boyfriend. But I, over the time, I imagined that to be like this, that their nervous system is on such a different level than yours, and in certain situations they start to feel fight, flight, or freeze, and a high amount of anxiety, and you just becoming danger. So if they tell you in the aftermath, which happened with me, and probably you also know about this, they tell you they have to heal from you, or they like have been really hurt by you. This is how they experienced it from the standpoint where they are just are in life, you know. and from the way they feel certain things and the way they experience life. So it's not like that they wake up in the morning and they think, how am I gonna fabricate this whole story in order to hurt you, you as a partner, ex-partner, the most. No, for them it's really, I think, difficult to see the reality as it is. And that's why they're also like so straightforward with lying. I mean, yesterday walked. I wanted to meet a friend at this bar, and she was sitting at this bar outside in this cafe. And in a normal situation with a healthier partner or a healthy partner, you would expect to like maybe that would trigger some moment of reflection in the other person because you shared so much intimacy and also really deep dark moments together. And at least for me, these people, like, she has a lot of meaning. And I obviously went straight home and my evening and night was ruined. And I was upset that someone who was so close to me was so distant and so like as if you never existed. It feels really like abuse. Yeah, I gave this person a lot from my side, but this is what's left. I'm dead, as she literally said back then a year ago. You're now officially dead to me. Yeah, so this is also, yeah, as I said, if they would want to see things straight and apologize, which somehow has to go hand in hand, then they will have to make things straight to their support group, their family, everybody they turned against you. And they also have to see through things. I believe and I heard that as a third topic in this video, it's possible that you get an apology, but that is like impulsive. It's always like coming out of like an impulsive motive. Like they maybe just got disappointed by someone else. They need your validation. They need to see that you're still around. So they will maybe drop you a message, hey, I really think we need to talk. And then once you respond, there's going to be silence. I've heard this many times. I also in the last year once got a message late at night at like midnight I miss you. And the next morning at 5 I got another message saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have written that. Ignore it and don't see it as an invitation to get in touch with me because I still want to be left alone. So yeah, maybe something happened there, and I still had feelings, I still was attached, but I knew I wanted to respond. I'm really curious about what happened and I hope you're okay. Which is sad because it's like also me admitting or already understanding that it hasn't anything to do with me. So there's nothing genuine coming out of it. And I think in this process of aftermath of such a relationship, one of the hardest things is that you realize maybe it wasn't ever what you thought it was, as even when you were like really close and together. Because yeah, at least for me it was like this, that in the beginning, after all ended so brutally, I was romanticizing the first weeks, months, and so on. But then while doing that, I find within these times already weird things where I realized in my memory it was never about me. It was always like conditional. It was always about the other person. So there was like there was a fight. Easily they would have considered a breakup. And I think if you really matter to someone, the person wouldn't do that. So the more months that passed in the last year without ever having received an apology, the more I somehow went, or like the thing is was the idea that it didn't matter went further and further and further back. That it didn't matter that it wasn't like real love or however you want to call it. And that's a hard one. At the same time, this helps you to accept and understand and even like completely get it, that there's like never gonna be any form of apology that is genuine, that would be at least as genuine as you would apologize probably to someone that you would hurt so much. So yeah, because I think the world they fabricate around the narrative of this relationship is so crooked, and you're so much painted black and the devil, and not only to them but to their family and to their friends, that there's no way that they would ever come back. And I think they have to do this out of, as I mentioned before, in order to avoid looking at what really happened, and in order to avoid like shame also, and that they would hate themselves for what happened or what they did. So yeah, don't ever expect an apology. And if so, I think there must have been like a lot of therapy. That's at least what my therapist always told me. If they really managed, and I wish for them, and I wish for my ex as well, they that she would manage to go through these things and to see things through, and to not live a life where she's just like running around chasing validation on every corner in order to feel somewhat okay. If she manages this, then maybe an apology could be genuine. But also, and maybe I make another video about that, is the apology has to be really like not just the messages like, hey, how you doing? I would expect like a letter or something. It's a complicated topic also to roll it up again for these people, and I think they would, it's really difficult for them. However, I'm happy that I live with somehow a clear mind. I know what happened. I know my fair share of mistakes that I have been doing in this relationship. My anxiety that I got, like not being able to trust, made me do things, or made me say things, or made me act in certain ways that I'm not proud of. However, that's my part of the cake. I don't think it's like I mean, I've never abused this person in a form, or I've never like did such hurtful things. Just also for myself, the way I responded to the situation I gave myself into, how much I was nervous, I didn't sleep anymore, I didn't properly eat anymore, I would be always on edge. This is wrong. I take responsibility for that. I used to say, well, of course, if somebody treats you like this, you get like this way, but still your choice to do that or not. And you have to take responsibility for your actions. But as I said, it's easier, I think, if you can walk away from the story owning your mistakes. And I mean, I even back then apologized and said, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on my anxiety and my trust issues. Yeah. But I at least have a good, I don't get the word, like I can't remember the English word. You know what I mean? A clear vest, or that's good. And if you have to walk around in life without that, if you always have to make sure that the shit is, sorry for the word, still nicely digged down or hidden down in a closet, it's not a nice way of living. And yeah, that's it. That's what I can say about the topic of apologies, and I hope you're doing okay, and probably will make more videos, maybe also shorter ones. Let me know what you think, and yeah, hope you're okay, and that you're getting through everything that you're going through nice and safe. Ciao, ciao.